discussed about how do we use alerts in Bootstrap. How to define alerts we have learned. Okay, so this is alert, and for that we need a basic of we need to install jQuery, Bootstrap jQuery. We need to import and use them. Right, next let's see the other components, how to deal with them and how to work with them. So alerts, these all are important later when we are working with JavaScript also. Design is very important, right? So Bootstrap, you need to know all this. Next, after alerts, now let's take a look about other options also. So how to deal with them. One more predefined Bootstrap jQuery is, we have a second one, we are having Bootstrap badges. How to deal with the Bootstrap badge. You remember already we learned to design badge like style. When I told you about CSS, in CSS examples, we discussed about badge. You remember? No? We learned about CSS badge like options. So how to align the contents, how to keep the placements inside. This is how we discussed. We saw this. These are badges like appearance actually. I already showed you this. So for that actually we need to write lot of styles, effects we need to define. We need to keep the appearances correctly, right? So we need to define such type of content. All right. So alignments, how to justify content and all. Now advantage is in Bootstrap we have I told you in Bootstrap ready-made options are available. Let's see. So you need to just know what classes are available for badge. So badges related classes. So technically what are the badge related classes? So we have badge related classes. That is, one is dot badge. Another one is different colors. So you can use badge primary. So you can use badge secondary. So you can use badge success. You can use badge danger, like this. We can use different size. Another, we can define the badge with a border style also. We can write badge pill. We can use badge pills. So that is to display in a different direction. That's it. These are the three options generally we have. and how we can use them, we will see that. So simple, there is nothing much, because already we know badge, we'll discuss it here. The point is we need to know the classes, how to use them. So what we are doing is, so we are keeping an head and style, and link the bootstrap relation is equal to style sheet, and href is equal to node modules bootstrap dist css bootstrap.css. Okay, and here after this, just bootstrap is enough, there is nothing jQuery here. And for body we will put a class container, then we will define here a heading badge. Let's keep a badge appearance here. So how we can add a badge? Suppose we define a button, and a button usually have a class as btn and btn primary. So those also I will tell you what button appearances will be there. So button classes will be there. So we can have a ready-made button appearance. Suppose we haven't learned about button. So initially I will just give button, and in the button I am displaying some text. I will put a span and suppose 4, and I return some likes. Okay. Usually you will have a simple appearance like this. You see 4 likes. I want appearance for this span. Then simply what we can do is, for that span we can apply a class called badge, and any color. So badge primary, like badge info, and you can see it will be like this. By default badge have a color, height, width, automatically it will display that. So it depends on how you want to configure it, right? Now we can apply for button, so we can apply for list items. So suppose I defined list. So here we are defining OL or UL. So list, here we are defining class as a list. List also have some effects, we will discuss about them. Actually list style unstyled I defined. So for UL unstyled, and usually you have unstyled, and here we are having a list item, and here we have a span, and we are defining suppose options like 4. So for suppose I said electronics, a list item is defined. Another list item, suppose a span, that means some 2, so some mobiles, and another list item like a span, and 5, suppose so fashion, watches, like this. So some options I have defined. Now usually the list will display in this way. Now we can give a special appearance for this, so we can use a class as what badge, and badge, so we have primary. Okay, so the class badge and badge primary for all of them, and you can use different colors, and you can see for all of them it will be like this. We can keep the badges. So in place at any location we can configure them. And usually badges have another effect is like we can even define for badge in such a way that they can be displayed for links also. You can use for hyperlinks. So for navigation, for example, suppose we are adding a link, href is equal to hash, and here we are defining like home, like another href is equal to hash, say about, and another href is equal to hash, so contact, like this. And we want just a badge style for them. Usually all these are displayed side by side, home, about, contact. And you can see I'm using a class as a badge, and badge primary. I'm using a class badge, and badge some danger. Okay, and I'm defining a class like badge, and badge, so badge some success. Okay, those are the effects we have defined, and we are directly applying those effects for those contents. The style will be there for hyperlinks. And you can use badge with pill style. That means we can add badge primary, and badge we have a pill style. If I give a pill style, that means you can see the pill style badge will have a rounded corner. That's it. Pill style will have a rounded one. You can see home, about, contact is a pill style. Pill style. You can define the badge style for entire content also. So badges usually used for this kind of purpose to display. For buttons, text boxes, for buttons, and contents inside the buttons, list contents, for all of them we can use this style. You can apply the appearance, so you can change the appearance of buttons and lists separately, that we will see next how to design the buttons. So these are ready made. Remember, we are not writing any effects, no effects we are writing, just we are applying those classes, and they have ready made colors, ready made border styles and all. And how we done the same thing with general css. With general css, if you have observed, we designed badge, and for that so many we have to write. If they want different colors, for every color we need to write different, right? So now it is simple, just you call the class and use it, right? These are various options. That means this is an example for badge pills, and this is an example for badge, so badge list, badge for list, basically how the badges are defined, like this, right? So this is one simple example of working with the Bootstrap badges. So inside the content, if you want to highlight any specific number or specific value, then you can better use these badges. You can configure these badges, right? So I will copy, and this is the example for badge, and these are all badge related classes, badge classes. So we have badge primary, secondary, danger, etc. All the colors. We have badge pill. Badge pill is rounded actually. These are all the basic classes used for badges. That's a very simple one to understand and to use, right? Next, important after badges. Now, if you remembered, in CSS, I told you about a CSS style called breadcrumb. Have you observed that breadcrumb? Usually breadcrumb is a effect. Through the breadcrumb effect, so we can apply different appearances. So breadcrumb, already I told you that we can have separators. No? We can keep any separator between the content. That's how sitemaps I told you. Usually we use that. So breadcrumb, if you remembered, and I told you how to design those breadcrumbs, how to configure and design the breadcrumbs. And for that, actually, we need to write a lot of effects. Like we need to write like for unordered list, display flex and all, border how much, and list before which symbol should be there, right? And if it is first child item, so before the first child item we don't want any effect, then content is empty. So then we can apply all these effects and display the effects for them. So usually for designing sitemap and all, we use this breadcrumb. So that means it defines a separator. By using the separator, we can configure, right? Usually we can have that, right? Now important is here the same thing. So we can use breadcrumb, and here we can add the appearance of breadcrumb. So for that you need to understand how to design the navigation also, means how to configure the navigation. And we can use even the separate, by default it will have a separator. If you want to change the separator, then you have to change that by using other effects. I will show you. That means how the content is defined. Let's see. Already we know breadcrumb like effects. Here ready-made will be there. That means see. So this is badge, and for designing of go to Bootstrap examples, and we have breadcrumb. Okay, HTML ready-made. That's the reason I told you that if we learn all this in the CSS, then it is easy to handle in Bootstrap also, like, because already we know relation is style sheet, href is equal to node modules bootstrap dist css bootstrap.css. Okay, and how to define the breadcrumb in the body. So class as container. Okay, and heading some sitemap we are designing, and how we can add here. So ready-made breadcrumb related classes are available. So how? Let's see. That means we have Bootstrap breadcrumb. So we have Bootstrap breadcrumbs, ready-made Bootstrap breadcrumbs are available. We can apply them. So how the breadcrumb classes are defined? So class name. So what are the Bootstrap breadcrumb classes? We have breadcrumb, that is one class. So we have to define the breadcrumb class. We can use another one is breadcrumb item. And if you want any particular item, so we can configure the item enabled or disabled. Actually we can configure enable or disable. And usually breadcrumb has by default we have a separator, and in later jQuery, so it is also possible to put our own icons right? We can also put our own icons. So that actually we need to go and change in CSS. So before content, we need to change the CSS. So we will have a breadcrumb CSS. We can change that before, right? So that how to change the separators in jQuery we can see, because these are predefined. We need to understand how to customize the Bootstrap library. By default, these two are the basic classes required. That's it. So if you want any particular item, we can use active and we can use disabled. Active disabled are common. They are not just related to breadcrumb. That means you can use them. These are general bootstrap classes for any element, for any element we can use them to show in an active style and a disabled style. But the main are these two, breadcrumb and item. Breadcrumb and breadcrumb item, that's it. By default, they have a separator. That means usually, so what I'm doing here in the sitemap, I'm creating an ordered list, OL. So, and in the ordered list, I'm defining LI, list item. And here we have home. Here we have list item about. And here we have list item. So list item contact. Actually, for this ordered list, so when you see this design, home, about, contact, usually it looks like this in general. Now for that ordered list, they can be links or anything, right? You can keep a link there. So usually href is hash. Okay. So this is the basic link and yeah. So a link, about, and href is hashed. So we configured some links. So and href is hash. Okay. Usually these three are links. How we can give a breadcrumb style? Just for this group ordered list, we are using a class called breadcrumb. And you can see a breadcrumb style. It will keep separated like this. You see a background effect also available. And these are treated as breadcrumb item. That means we call list item as breadcrumb item. That's it. We have to apply the class breadcrumb item. So you don't need to write anything. Just means you don't need to use any predefined. So breadcrumb item means you don't need to write any styles by yourself. Already they are written. You have to just call them and use them. And you can see that. So it will have by default the separator slash. So you can see by default the separator slash is there. Actually, breadcrumb separator usually when we are dealing for breadcrumb item separator. See, this is present in the original Bootstrap file. So go to the Bootstrap file. You see bootstrap.css in node modules. In node modules, bootstrap dist bootstrap.css. Go to that original file. In this file, search for breadcrumb. Control F. So we are searching for breadcrumb. You can see this is the breadcrumb. And you can see it is using display flex. And it is using padding, borders, and everything. You have breadcrumb item. Breadcrumb item, how much it is. And before. And breadcrumb before. See content, it is using slash. So that is the reason. It is having that effect. That means what we have to do is breadcrumb item before. So breadcrumb item before. That means we have breadcrumb item. And for the breadcrumb item, so before you have to put content slash. We already learned how to remove it, how to customize. By default, it is using slash. You know how to change its effect, change its option, because in CSS I already told you. That means here we can put a style. So we can put a style. Okay, we can put a style here. In the style, I am writing that option. What is that? Bread crumb crumb hyphen item. Bootstrap, I told you, open source. It allows to modify. And here we need to keep before we need to put content is what? Content is, so I'm adding an arrow like this. Now important, when I refresh here, so it will be before content is added. Before content is added. So that means it is adding the content before. And very important is every item adjacent to that also should be added. That means actually we need to write here breadcrumb item. Breadcrumb. So breadcrumb. So hyphen item. Breadcrumb item. Breadcrumb item. So plus it is using that. That means the adjacent will be displayed there. You can see it is using the same option here. That means plus breadcrumb item before, right? You need to customize that. You can customize that here. So already it is there in the Bootstrap. So we can change in the Bootstrap, right? Here I am adding before. That means it added the item before. And for every item before, we need to add, because currently we are adding the same class everywhere. Then what you have to do is you go to this location, remove this. So by default, you have bootstrap.css. In bootstrap.css, in the content, I am changing this here. This is before what you want. And you can see breadcrumb item. So have so many other options also. Active, pagination, flex, how it should be displayed. These all effects you can customize. I originally customized the Bootstrap CSS file and apply here. You can see it will change effect there. That means the original Bootstrap breadcrumb, if you change it, it will affect everywhere. We can override, but we have to override all effects. We have to override all effects because breadcrumb item everywhere, some changes are made. We have to change everywhere. We have to configure everywhere. That is the reason here. So we need to, if you want, we can directly go to the content and make changes in the content. So it can be customizable where you have to make the changes bootstrap.cs. Originally that content will be here. And slash, you can apply that one. By default, it is applied with slash. You can change and you can customize. So that means, and one more option, for example, home should be active. Then what we can do is, so here I can keep for that home breadcrumb item, I defined active. Usually active means it will be displayed in an active style because currently we don't have any link target now. If you are having a link target, those colors will change. That means it will put in a different color. So for that, we haven't written any link target. We just given hash. Active, we can use an option like disabled. These you will see in later stage also how to do. If I keep disabled, what happens is it will keep in a disabled state. Right? These are used everywhere, not only here. Right? But for that, we need proper navigation to define to make it active and all. In navigations, I will tell you how to handle them. So these are related to other items. These are general Bootstrap classes. For any item, you can use active and disabled. Mostly while creating lists and all, we use this. That's the reason we should know. So later we will see how to use them. So initially for breadcrumb, only two are required. One is breadcrumb item, another one breadcrumb. And one more point is you can customize. So you can customize its symbol, right? You can customize you can customize its symbol from bootstrap.css. You can customize its symbol from bootstrap css. So that's bootstrap is complete open source. It allows you to change according to your requirement. First, only the point, you should know where to change it, right? This is another example so of breadcrumb. Already we learnt it. So but here the point is, you don't need to write effects, you need to just apply those classes. That means to the parent you apply breadcrumb, and for every item you define breadcrumb item. That's it. Then it will apply those effects and display that in that particular style. So you can change the separator. You can change the separator by using the source. You can actually put an icon with different symbols also. Those I will tell you in jQuery generally how we can write them. Means practically how we can write them dynamically, right? So these are us. So we have badges and we have breadcrumb, and we know the purpose of breadcrumb, how to design and use the breadcrumb. Okay. Next important, so we have bootstrap buttons. How we can give appearance for buttons. Buttons also very simple. In order to use the buttons, we have simple classes for the buttons. So what are the button classes? So button classes. So we have simple button related classes. One is button. We have BTN. BTN. We have BTN primary, and you know all the colors. We have BTN. So success. We have BTN danger. BTN danger, etc. All the colors are suitable for it. So button can be defined with all different types of colors. And for buttons, we have some more important attributes. Actually, we can also give BTN outline primary, and again the same. So here I will keep all these side so that it is easy. That means we can keep primary, and we can keep secondary, we can keep success, we can keep danger, like this. Here also same, secondary. So we have success, we have danger. That means primary button and outline button, and we can give different sizes for button. BTN SM, BTN LG, BTN MD, so BTN XL. Different size buttons we can define. Sizes also we know how to define the buttons, we can configure them, right? And another option is for the buttons, usually we can apply the predefined classes, so which are related to appearance and behavior, actually appearance and behavior. And how we can apply some jQuery related effects also we will see. For that we need jQuery. For jQuery we can handle jQuery options. So button directly will not have any effect, already we know now. So for button, yesterday we used one jQuery related option like data dismiss. We can use data dismiss, we can use data toggles like options. Those are related to other combinations, right? Initially for buttons you can use BTN block. So we can apply the buttons BTN block from the different sizes of buttons you can apply. The width, height will be adjusted for that, right? And important is buttons have two states. I already told you. We can use active. So this is disabled states. For active disabled, they have a different appearance to display when they are used. These are general CSS classes for buttons. And usually buttons use jQuery related functions with combination of others. So how they use with combination of others. For that, actually what they need is they need some additional jQuery attributes. So how we can configure jQuery attributes? That means we need some jQuery attributes. What are the jQuery attributes usually used for buttons? We use jQuery attributes like we have an attribute data dismiss, and we have an attribute like data toggle like this. Data toggle and data dismiss are usually used for buttons. So when you are dealing with buttons, you have data toggle, and data dismiss. These are regularly used for buttons. So actually, they should be used with combination of alerts, dialogues like things that I will tell you. So how to handle them, I will tell you. So how we can use them, I will tell you. Actually, these are considered as predefined event binding. Actually, event binding for button. Predefined event binding for button. So those events and all you will understand in JavaScript and jQuery how to use them. But usually this is very regularly used. So we can handle with other contents, right? Later I will show you. As of now, these are the button styles. Just see how to handle them. So I will add another Bootstrap buttons .html. Okay, let's keep the link in the head section. Link relation style sheet and href is so node modules bootstrap dest css bootstrap.css. Okay, now in the body section, so let's keep a class container. First we will see all different types of button look, how they look like actually. So usually these are all button classes, no? So suppose I will keep a data list and data term, and here I will say button, and here we are using data definition. So we have a button, and we have like home, and we need to keep a class as btn. Usually btn will apply a color, will apply a button style for that, but no colors and nothing, it is empty. So by default that is the base class. For buttons the base class is btn, and it looks normal, because now we need some colors to define. That is normal. So how we can apply the colors? So btn primary, and you can see that appearance will come for the button. So that's how we can define. So different colors. So how you are defining the button colors? So that means we have a data term. So colors we can use data definition. We have button, so that is delete. So we have button, so like save. So and we are applying here class as btn and btn danger, and here for save we have class as btn and btn some success. Okay, and you can see they will appear like this. So different predefined colors for the buttons, we can define them. Another important option here is so we have another outline style. Outline style means so we can simply put So button, and it is delete. And outline style, how it looks like. So another button, and that is save. Same we can apply like this. BTN and BTN outline, outline danger, outline danger. And for the next one, here I am using BTN class is equal to BTN and BTN outline, outline success, outline success. Then outline buttons will have ready-made style like this. You see mouse over, they will change their colors. These are button outlines. And if I want button to occupy, so sizes are there: small, large, medium size. We have a block style. Block style means button will occupy the entire width of the container, entire width of the container. That means we can give button with a class called BTN and BTN primary and BTN block. And you can see block will occupy entire page. And here we define some register like option. And you can see it will get like this. Means it will occupy entire width. Suppose you kept in a div with short width, it will fit to that div. So we will design these and use them in our lot of examples when we are dealing with JavaScript. So just you need to know the classes, how to use them. Yeah, sorry, just got disconnected with that, right? Yeah, so fine. So let me share the screen. Okay. Okay, this is the button. So what's the button we are having? So button with the block, and SM is for small. That means I am using BTN primary SM, right? And home, and refresh this, you can see small. The original size is large for the button. You can put a small button here. So when you are displaying the buttons, you can apply different styles for the buttons. Buttons have so another option is when you define, you remembered yesterday what we done is we used a data term, and this is a close style. And yesterday, so we applied input, so button. So for the button, we are keeping some cross, and we are applying a class called close. Close is an style we are applying, and you can see close will keep a right side corner. Alignment will be changed for that automatically. That means you can see the button is having a cross and it is at the right side corner. Close will have by default that effect for button. So we can change that. We can change that. So that means by default, close style is that. Close style is that. For example, I'm writing like BTN and BTN danger and close like this. I am defining. You will not see any effect for that. Why? Because the close style is by default having the effects which are dominated by all others. It will not have any another. I will save this. You can see the close style will be just cross with gray like this. So that is the default right side corner you can see, right? Close. And you can, suppose I said okay, I given the text as okay, then you can see that okay will come right side there. Usually we use icon there. We use an icon there so that it will keep that cross icon at that location. We can use icon there, right? So this is another option that we can apply for the button. That means we can even apply the button class as dot close. So that means default close button style, right? That is the default close button style. What is active and disabled is actually, suppose we have the button colors, delete button and save button. For delete button I am using disabled. I am using disabled. When I am using disabled, the delete button disabled, you can see disabled means it will keep light gray, light danger color. If I make it as active, actually active, that means you can see it will have a dark color. Dark color will say it is active. And it is disabled. Disabled means it will be displayed like light color. But remember, so on mouse over, if you want to change the cursor also, that you can change. That we learned how to change. We have to write by ourselves for that. But colors will be changing. For active, one color; for disabled, another color. We can apply for that, right? So they will change the appearance of that particular element. They are also generally used for buttons. But how to use this button? So for closing and all, already I told you, for that we need a combination of others like alerts, like other options we need to manage. Yesterday we learned how to use this data dismiss, how to use data dismiss. Later in other examples, we will see data toggle, right? Because generally data toggle is a concept which is used for once click show, another click hide, once click open, another click close. Like that we can manage. So data dismiss yesterday we used. So with combination we have to use. You cannot simply use like that. With combination of other options. Yesterday in alert we used. In alert for button, we used a jQuery attribute. What is it? Data dismiss. Data dismiss, what is the data dismiss we are defining here? Alert. Actually, we can use another option, data toggle, but it needs a combination actually. Suppose here I kept here, so button, and button will have a class as BTN and BTN primary. And here I will say toggle. And when I run this is in alert example, and you can see there is a toggle option. So here I written an attribute like this, data hyphen toggle. Data toggle is equal to alert. Alert should be used for toggling. That means usually what happens is I closed it and I click on toggle, then alert will display again, and again click, it will hide again. But alert doesn't have that nature. For that we have to use options like dialogues and models where we can apply them, right? So that's the reason I said that these options are required with other attributes. How to use them, I will tell them, right? So later when situation comes. So already data dismiss example we have seen. Data toggle with combination of other controls, we will understand that, how to use them, right? So one example for this is the example where we have used all the button related classes. How to use button related jQuery? One we saw already in alert. Others you will see in working with other combinations. Because we cannot use them directly, we have to use with combination, we have to handle them. I will tell how to use and which situation they will correctly work. Right? So this is another important option is buttons. So how to deal with the buttons and button effects. So these are all the Bootstrap buttons and their classes. These are all the classes. They are easy, simple to understand. We have BTN, primary, outline primary, SM, block, active, disabled, and close. Another important is actually buttons have a button group. Buttons usually have a button group. That means Bootstrap have a button group. If you are dealing with several buttons, then you can use button group easily. That means if you are dealing with several buttons, you can use button group. That means suppose you are handling navigation, you are handling interactions like insert record, update record, delete record, like operations, then we can group the buttons. Buttons can be grouped. We have button group. So we have button toolbars also. We can define a button toolbar and button group. How we can button group is, for that we have classes. So what are the classes we are having? BTN toolbar. So it is actually creates a button toolbar actually, and BTN hyphen group. This is used to create a group of buttons in toolbar. In toolbar we can create a group of buttons that you can manage by using this, right? So button toolbar and button groups, we can use button toolbar and button groups. Now how these are used, that means usually we use this for designing a simple toolbar like appearances, and all combinations we can use them. So we can use different size like dot btn hyphen group. We can use SM like LG, like Excel, like MD. So different types of button sizes will be available. So how this works, we can even put a vertical group also. That means btn hyphen group hyphen vertical. By default they are horizontal, vertical also we can apply. Let's see how to design a button group. So suppose these are used for designing some toolbar like content, for example groups, okay, .html. So we have bootstrap, and in the body section, so we will put a class as container, and here I will keep a heading, suppose some Naresh I technologies something. Okay, here I need to create a toolbar. Simply you keep a div, and for this div use a class called btn toolbar. In that we have a div. This div use a class called btn group. That is one group. In that group we have button. Remember, button classes you can apply for even links also. That means we have a link. This is home link, and this have a link, so about link, and this have a link, this is contact link. Okay, and you see here we will apply a class as btn and btn primary. Okay. For this also class as btn and btn primary. Okay. And class btn and btn primary. Okay. Now, if any clickable, you can give that. Usually, that will be like this. So, in a button toolbar, the buttons will be like this. You see, all are combined. Usually, if I don't keep in a button toolbar, generally what happens, they will be separated. Usually, buttons will be separated. Na? Even I keep side by side. You see, in our previous example, when I keep the buttons side by side, they look separated. But when I am using button toolbar, you can see it is combined. It is combined. Now see, this is one group. Now what I will do is, so that is one group, so that it will group all these buttons. You can apply for button or anything. Suppose I will use another div. Remember, button toolbar will have a button groups. This is another group. Class is group, but this is another button group. And here we have a button called login. Login. So we have another group called login, or we can use. Later we will learn about forms actually. Suppose we are using input type is equal to text. That means a text box. Beside that we have a button, and we have a class as btn. And important is so btn primary. Okay, that is also having button primary with a text box. This is another group, but you can see it comes like this. And for the button, I am giving the word as search. And you can see the search word comes like this. Now, usually what happens is two groups are there. What I will do is I want to keep this search right side corner. Then we have two groups now. In a toolbar, here we can write an attribute, justify content between. Justify content between, it will justify the contents, and you see search will come right side. You will see the search will come right side, and this will come left side. How many groups are there? It will arrange those groups. So between left and right. Now to give a good toolbar like appearance, actually button group, button toolbar. So I will give BG primary. Then you see that entire button toolbar will be in that. This is a button toolbar. And here what we are doing, so text white will keep a white color. For that you can see all the color for the button text will be white. Now this is actually a button toolbar. So with alignments adjusted left and right. Later we can learn about some more options to keep the content in a correct style. Suppose you see several websites, search will come with a search icon, right? And of course, icon means you can use fav icons now. And how to keep them in a correct way, later I will tell you. Why? Because instead of search, suppose we have a linked. So link relation is equal to style sheet, and href is equal to, we have fonts. In fonts folder we have font awesome all.css now. All.css. Actually, in that we have search icon. That means here we put a span, and for the span we are using a class. So, and the class is font awesome will have class like fa, and fa we have some search. We have some fa search. So, but those need to be available to make that search symbol right side. You see, font awesome will get that search right side. Right. Already we know font awesome, how to use the font awesome, and you can see right side you will get that search icon. It depends on how color you have given. See, I given background for the button toolbar. Button toolbar have button groups, right? Button toolbar BG primary, because button colors also same. Suppose I say BG danger, then the background will be like that. Background will be like that. According to that, you need to change all the button related colors also, right? So that danger, this is button danger, right? This is button danger, and here also we are using button danger. Then the entire color will be proper. You can define anything. So that's how we use and design the button toolbars. Navigation bars are different. We will see later. This is button groups when you are dealing with a set of buttons. So here we can apply this. So we have button toolbar with a button group. Button group. Button has some more options, vertical alignments and how to keep them. That we will see tomorrow, right? Up to this, I will give an example how to use them. And tomorrow we will see some more options, how to design navigation bars, how to design forms, how to keep the elements side by side, everything. So these are all Bootstrap related components that we will continue in tomorrow session. Okay, thank you.